No, that's fine, Michelle.
I gotta remember how many was this last time to make it happen. So it was a half paper. So the lunch. Can you guys hear us online okay? Holden just texted me and said.
I can now, just a little bit.
You cannot hear.
And I couldn't hear Bailey.
She was muted, I think. Can you guys hear us now?
Yeah.
Okay. Holden, are you good now? I think you're muted. Oh, you're not muted.
Try again.
Yeah.
Just best method. Okay, we ready? The boss. Yeah, we.
Actually, there's a copy in there. Bring them.
Can you all hear me? Or is this just a one-way deal?
We can hear you.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, I do have a couple things.
Well, because it was one.
I know. What kind of thing was that?
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So, this is get something the agenda. We do a football.
Yes, I would like to add, there's a letter for the supervisors. You know, you talked about, I apologize, but it's on our letterhead, and it's addressed to the representatives. I just drafted that today with some information that Stan gave me, and I would like to add that to the bottom of new business, to discuss possibly approving that and sending that to our list.
Where is it gonna be at?
It's at the bottom of new business.
That's, yeah. Thank you. Anybody else have anything that needs to be added to our agenda, or can we get a motion to accept or approve the meeting agenda?
motion to approve the agenda.
I second. All in favor? Aye. Did Tony say anything when you emailed this out? There wasn't anything, Tony, here.
No, but the MOU is from the NRCS, and I've been in communication with them. They actually, after I sent the agenda out, I got an email like later that afternoon that said, pause on signing the MOU because the NRCS found out that like another federal department had not approved it yet. Has to be approved by their grants and something with a letter D initial. GAD, I think, or GDA department had not approved it yet. So I asked Tony if I should take it off of the agenda, and he said it's likely to be approved. This is just like one of those, yeah, kind of things. It'll likely be approved. He recommended going ahead and approving it and signing it and having it on hand should it become approved by the correct department, then we can just submit ours. We don't not have to like go to that. And if not, if they don't approve it, then we'll just have to put the MOU on. The new one, if they change something, then we'll have to put that on the next agenda. So he said it would take off to go over if you suggested.
Okay. We can do that. All righty, Holden, what do you do?
Oh, not any more than anybody else, that's for sure. Um, no, I was planning on coming there this evening and being there in person. But I was in Indy today for a meeting that went longer than I thought and had to come home and feed some hay before it got too dark out. So I'm here through Zoom, but I'll be there at your guys' annual meeting next week. So I look forward to that. One update that I have for you. Yesterday, I was at the Vermilion County annual meeting, and their FSA County Executive Director announced that there is a new CRP sign up that starts tomorrow. Um, that was news to me. She said, "Yeah, we got an email at 3 o'clock this afternoon that they're starting that on Thursday." So it's going to be a new CRP sign up. It'll also be CREP sign up as well. So the Indiana State Department of Agriculture side of things is the CREP portion of that. But yeah, so that will start tomorrow and go through the middle of March. So anyone that's interested, obviously talk with FSA about that. And if you're in an area that it is close to a water body or a floodplain, then you would probably qualify for CREP as well. So if that's the case, obviously get a hold of me and we can work on getting that done and getting signed up. I got word that we are doing our soil sampling program again, starting in March. We'll start signups again. I don't have a date on that yet. Ophelia is supposed to be getting an email together to send out to everybody with some news and a media kit for promotion for that. But our numbers just keep going up year to year, it seems like, or each sign up. So that's really good. I know a lot of our partners as well have been really at using it as well because a lot of the NRCS programs require you to have an up-to-date soil sample on file. So we've had a lot of the DCs, referencing and referring us to those landowners, which is a great promotional deal for everyone. And then the only other news I really have is, as you guys know, for the past 13 months or so, I've been covering 2 territories for ISDA, so 8 counties in total. But we had interviews earlier this past week for the position covering Clay, Park, Vigo, and Vermilion. So I'm expecting them to announce who receives that job. I don't know. I don't know anything more than anybody else. I think I'm the last to find out. But so yeah, the goal is though I will be back to just the 4 counties and we'll be able to spend a lot more time in the Owen, Putnam, Morgan, and Johnson area than I currently am able to do. So I love the other counties, but I'll be ready to have a little more time to focus. I know that drive last night to Cayuga, it was about 2 hours from my house, and I said, I'm not going to miss this drive, guys. I do love you all to death, but I'm ready to give that up. So yeah, that's all I got though as far as new business. Like I said, I'll be there next Thursday as well for your guys' annual meeting. So if there's anything before then, give me a shout. Lisa obviously has my contact, and I think a lot of you do as well. So let me know if I can answer any questions.
Thank you. It would be nice to not be spread quite so thin, I'm sure.
Yeah, for sure. A little less drive time. That'll be handy. I spend a lot of time behind the wheel right now, and I think I'm getting that trucker bod. I need to work on that.
Fantastic, thank you. We got a report here from Nathan, reminding us of deadline. I think the soil sampling, let's discuss the same thing that Paul was talking about, the program.
I do have an update, sorry, I didn't even interrupt. Like last month, you guys asked me to check out the community listening sessions. And I did get with Nathan on that. He said that's something that they're still planning. I never got back and asked him like why was it in the DSS report, but they are like, they don't have locations and dates picked yet. I don't know why it was in there, but he actually said that they were considering Morgan County as maybe an area. I don't think it's just like a community listening session for like just soil and water districts, or it might be a larger thing. And he said whoever was doing the planning had already considered Morgan County as one. So I just replied back that we would love to post one. Let me know how I can help. But dates and places and times and all that have not been picked yet for that. So I don't know why I was with a QR code. It didn't work. But yep, that's what I got out of all.
Well, it's encouraging to at least have an opportunity to give feedback.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, Lisa. I was going to tell Lisa as well. There is a I don't know if you got the email or not from NRCS earlier, but they're going to be having a informational session. NRCS is about the regenerative pilot program that they're doing. That'll be February 25th. So I plan on hopping on that call too. So I don't know if that's I can send you the Teams link as well to that if you didn't get it.
I did.
But
Okay.
I was going to add that. Yep. Something else I meant to mention.
Holden, do you know more about those listening sessions? Like who all is involved in those?
I don't. It seems like I know that they've talked about wanting to get information from each of the regions, in different parts of the state, but I'm not on that team. That's more of the DSS role, I think, is they're handling a lot of that.
Haley needs to get those reports. She's got it down. Shoot, Haley, go ahead. You're muted. Hold on, you're muted.
I always forget to do that. Hey guys, sorry I can't be there. I have a program in a few minutes. I just wanted to update you guys on what I'm doing, which is mostly Indiana Master Naturalist stuff. Well, by the next board meeting, it'll have started, but not I'll see you guys at the annual meeting before it started. But I'm really excited for it. We've decided on the kits for everyone to take home. We're going to be giving them their choice of a field guide. So like whatever topic that they're most interested in, they can choose one of like 9 to take home and use or use throughout the program. And the binder that most courses give with full of resources and giving them the ability to take notes and stuff throughout the course, and then they'll be able to use that for their final quiz, and a USB thumb drive with as much stuff that I can think to fit on there for them to use when they get home, and wherever they might need it. I'll be doing the the first session, I'll be doing a nature journaling course alongside the orientation, like, getting everyone to let each other know each other, and telling them about the course, and then trying to get them into the mindset of, learning and engaging with nature through nature journaling, before the non-elective classes start. Uh, Otherwise, I've been scheduled to do a nighttime insect hunting program at Jimmy Nash, with Luke O'Neill. I think he's doing like a monthly-ish nighttime, like evening program there. So I'm really excited about that. And the Monrovia branch of the Morgan County Public Library wants me to come in during their summer reading program to do something with dinosaurs, and like link it to the stuff that like we do, which I don't know if you guys know this, but I love dinosaurs, so I'm really excited to like talk about like animal adaptations and like use dinosaurs as an analogy for that, and also like geology, like fossilization and all sorts of cool stuff. And I've also been scheduled to speak for the Master Gardeners about insects, of course. Sorry about that. There was an alarm going off. Sorry, this is kind of a scattered uh, report, but let me know if you have any questions or if you have any suggestions or anything of the sort. Yeah.
What age group will your student be at the Monrovia Library? Do you know much about that yet?
I don't. She said she'll be giving me more details, like the closer we get. All I know is that it'll be school age children. Whether that's like elementary or high school or all of them, I'm not super sure. I'd imagine that it's most of them, like all age ranges, just given the size of the branch, but I'm not super sure.
I think you will, in all those places where you do this educational work, I think your enthusiasm will do great things for everybody involved. So
I appreciate that.
that's fun to see you get to do that.
Yeah.
Anybody else have any thoughts? Right. Okay. Whatever you got to go do, I sure don't want to hold you up.
No worries. Thank you guys so much, and see you next week for the annual meeting. I'm really excited for that. Bye.
It's tricky having the screen right behind us. Isn't it? Okay, sorry, back up. Okay.
Yeah,
Oh, so shall we go first? Okay. Well, I don't have a ton to report. It's been a lot of planning stuff. So it's been kind of slow moving at the beginning of the year, but we are getting started on scheduling our coffee open houses. So those were where Lisa and I and another research professional ideally will join us in basically tabling at a local coffee shop or diner or something in the morning to try to get better access to community members and farmers that might not have access to the office or think about coming into the office and checking us out. So we had an original date but have to change it due to the FFA annual breakfast. So by the next meeting, I'm sure we'll have an official date on that. But we are getting started on that. Hopefully the first one will be focused on NRCS and have so that should be cool. We also talked about starting continuing our creek sampling workshops for this year. We have one scheduled tentatively for the 25th of March, I believe. I'll have to double check on that. But that will be continuing this year, hopefully expanding to some homeschool groups or any school groups really for school age kids. So that'll be fun. And then Stan and Lisa just told me about the Indian Creek Career Fair is happening again this year. I wasn't able to go to the last one because I got furloughed like right before it happened, but I'll be back this year. So hoping to, I have that day free, so I'll be at that. And then finally, I am in the middle of the Indiana Watershed Leadership Academy, which is through Purdue. It's a really cool training series, and you get a certificate at the end, so that'll be really cool. But I already got approached from one of the other participants, Amanda Tracus, I believe is how you say it. And so I will be at the upcoming water resources planning workshop that's gonna be in Martinsville. That's April 22nd, I believe. So I'll be doing a presentation there too. That's with pool water and someone else. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, Alliance of Pool Water. Yeah. So that'll be cool. But that's pretty much it lately. Also helping some annual meeting prep just for this. So yeah, that's basically all I got for you guys. So hope to pick up throughout the year, I guess, as it goes on. But I'm excited about this program. Yeah, yeah. I'm excited.
They're big things. She's like, that's all I have. I feel like that's so. And she's working on the outside of, well, not when she's here, but when she's at other offices, I know she's got like, she's doing behind the scenes.
But
I
I
appreciate
think one of the planning is that if you fail on some plan.
Right.
Each other, doing your due diligence can be.
Yeah, it's a good time to do it when it's cold out, and then everything will be set up for the rest of the year.
Yeah, and everything controlled. Ready to go.
Yeah. There you go.
Hey, Michelle, sorry I skipped over, you got my check mark already, and then also I skipped the basic stuff.
It's okay.
System document stuff.
It's all right. Let's see. Farm Shield was successful on, we had about, 70 people in Kokomo, 2 weeks ago. And then, we had 20 registrants in Bloomington. Starting to think Bloomington's not the place to hold an ag-based thing, but, feeling good. One of the comments from the workshop, was I felt like I got $1,000 program for $40. So, we packed a lot in one day and they went home with a lot to think about. And even if you missed the Farm Shield program, we're doing webinars of all the breakout sessions. So everyone who registered for it gets to attend free. But if you missed it, you can also register for it. So it's the same thing. You just don't get Jolene Brown as the keynote speaker, and all the networking in person. But it was a good time. And we're probably looking at trying to write a grant for it again, maybe do it like every year. So that went really well. Beef Basics launched last night. We had 20 people on online, and then we've got a couple people that are going to be watching the recording. So that's a lot of fun. The Beginning Farmer program is starting. So if you know anyone who's getting into farming and needs some resources, registration closes by February 15th. I'd love for you to pass that out. I'll email it to you tomorrow as well. February 15th, it starts on Thursdays, February 19th. So that's all online as well. And then, so the Farm Shield workshops are in March, beginning farmer starts here in February. The Ag Engage conference is next week. So on Wednesday, I've got 30 plus kids coming for the Emerging Ag Leaders Conference, and 100 people coming the next day on the 19th for the Purdue Edge and Ag Conference. Yes, they did.
Yeah, I know.
Emerging in Ag, formerly Young Ladies in Ag.
Right.
And
And
the 18th. And then the next day on the 19th is the Ag Engage, hosted by Purdue Edge and Ag.
not engaged.
Correct, Ag Engage. So that's what I've been working on for the most part. Then we have the Quad County Park is coming up. Actually, no, that's a joke. Small Farms Conference is March 3rd. I'm sorry. And it has merged together with the Purdue Pork Congress. So, so it's all those specialty crop people and small yard people. So if you want to attend it, it's in Hendricks County, the 3rd through the 5th. It looks like it's going to be pretty good. I will send information on that. And then
March
on
3rd through 5th.
March 3rd through the 5th, and on the 6th, I'll be taking 14 kids interested in dairy on a road trip to Kentucky, Tennessee, West Virginia, baby Virginia, Ohio, and Indiana.
I want to go.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, if I need a chaperone, you are a 4-H volunteer.
I'm already.
Okay, and we'll come back on the 10th. And so that,
Dairy road trip.
yes, yes,
You.
yes. So
How
we're
many
gonna do
days
that.
is it allowing you to do all that? Just out of curiosity.
Well, so we got a donation from the 4-H. Well, there's a statewide 4-H thing that where there's money, and then we head up a lot of.
I just mean how many days it could.
Oh, sorry, days. That'll be Friday the 6th through Tuesday the 10th.
Well, it's a lot of ground to cover.
Yes, it is.
And is this like a group from the state level?
Yes.
Or, because we don't probably have enough.
Yeah, this is
Support local.
state level Indiana 4-H Dairy Academy kids. They apply and pay a little bit towards it. They get to go to World Dairy Expo as their first event for the 4-H, National 4-H Conference, Dairy Conference. Then we do, in December, we did a workshop working on scholarships to do the 4-H Achievement Scholarship. So this March trip is an industry learning thing. We went to Fair Oaks in December, so it was fun. We're gonna take them to a dairy farm that has a compost bed and packed barn. So instead of free stalls, it's literally they're laying on compost. And you know how when you drive around and you see a cow laying in the field, she kind of looks a little bit dead, and you're like, oh goodness, please don't be a dead cow. They do that. And it freaks you out, but they're just so comfortable. They're in deep REM sleep, and you can actually sneak up.
Pretty warm, right?
Right, and the compost is really warm because you stir it twice a day when they're away at the milking farm. So it's just sawdust, manure, and urine. It's really good.
Well, beef operation, you don't stir it at all.
Right.
You just leave it, let it build up to 2 or 3 feet, then you take them out, clean it out, put another patch of straw or
Corn stalk.
corn stalk, whatever you got down, again, let them build that way, and you just keep adding to it.
Mm.
Makes it pack up.
Yep.
Ferments in there, and you take it out, and then you let it ferment, then you start to outside of the facility.
Makes them happy critters.
It does, and
Happy soil.
it gives them really good traction, and it gives you a stable thing. So that's gonna be the start of my March. Quad County Park is the 13th at Mooresville, in Mooresville at Equipment Technologies. March 13th, Friday the 13th. I don't recommend me.
It'll be fun.
I'm gonna be great in April. Garden Fest is the 14th for the Master Gardeners. I said, don't be me, it's not worth it. Yeah, oh, and then at some point in time, I agreed to teach fishing 101 at Jellyfish Park. I think that's in May or June. And oh yes, and in March, we also have the pool test on March 25th. So if you have a bull that needs to be tested for, presence of semen, confirmation, equality, and then also vaccinated, it'll be $50 plus 25 vaccination.
And you know where you can do each job.
Yes.
That's right.
It is, you don't want that.
My first year here, we were, in the dairy industry, you're like, stay away from bulls. Seems a smidge unsafe because they're a little, it's squirrely. And then they're like, hey, you need to run the bull test. I'm like, what? And Joe Rose would bring his 40 bulls to the location to be tested on top of the 20 bulls from the association. And then we're at Scott Whaley's place, and an older couple just show up on chairs to watch.
Yeah.
The last time, next to the last time, we had the Charlotte hang for semi.
Yes. Yeah.
And 3 times through the shoot, they still didn't test.
Yep.
Had to shoot up. It was exciting. It was exciting.
I've lost a driver's side mirror because of the bull test. So when, yeah. So, yes, they are.
How'd you get that shoot?
Oh, it's, well, see, I wasn't in charge. And I let other people make decisions. There was a bull across the way watching everything happen the whole day. And the people running it decided that he was tame enough to walk across the parking lot to where the stuff was at, instead of sending him through the gate system because it was quicker. He made a right turn and said, no.
And you couldn't turn the charging boat?
Yeah, yeah, and yeah, he was tall enough to knock a lifted truck's side mirror backwards, and I'm like, well, that's unfortunate. I forgot I was parked in front. And then I had a dangling thing. It was great. So. Yes, it did not, but you know, $100 later.
So do you charge for each bull get tested?
Yes.
Have a veterinarian come up, the best way.
Well, I'm just thinking about Joe Rowe, what he does.
He gets charged, and then he's also pulling blood for Yoni's testing too, since that's kind of a contagious disease. So he's doing that in addition to what they're off, but that is also okay. Yeah. Because he's got quite a few. So, but the bull test for the association will be in the afternoon because they're going to run Joe's bulls.
Usually run, about 15, 20 minutes for one bull to go through the cycle.
Yeah.
As long as they agree to go through the shoots and everything.
Correct.
Instead of that being problems. They have a pretty good setup, but they unload over here and they load them back over here. So the trailer can unload his bull here, it goes through the gates and stuff. And Joe's got a real good.
He thought it through because you don't have to back up a trailer more than once, which is real nice. So, oh yeah. So
Lots of stuff to share.
yes.
Thank you.
So pay attention to your emails, and that's when you'll be speaking.
Okay.
So
We've even up to a few things too.
Yes, it is a peach. This, in respect of time, I'm gonna skip over a lot of the administrative tasks other than the AFR have on that I've been working on it. It is done.
Got it.
I've given Debbie and their copies. This is actually fine up there so they can look that over and get it approved so I can submit that. What else was there? Anything else?
We also can do it.
Right.
That's
I just put it.
Yeah.
Let's upcoming events, I wanted to add that, like Emma said, we're gonna go try to do, the career fair on March 11th. There is a STEM fair in Monrovia also in March that, about 25 schedule or not, but we usually go booth up there, and then we have Garden Fest. I don't think I have those things written. I was trying to keep this to one page. The annual meeting, I really have a lot of it, the planning done ahead of time. Planning is all done. I still need to finalize the script. Is there anybody that's not going to be there that night? If they know they're not, so I can keep them off of the agenda. Okay, so great. I need to finish that. Donations, we do have several. I feel like it's several sponsors. Some of you have donated, and then I've had a couple of different businesses offer to donate. I haven't received checks from them yet. But we're doing pretty good on that. I could still use more donations if anybody, think of somebody else to send it to, or if you, know of anybody who would be willing to give us door prizes. I was gonna reach out to the female yet and talk to them about, both, because I think we had some things last year. Tim, you had a question about your gift basket. And I was talking to Bill Dials about it today, and I was like, I don't know if we can do that or not. And he said, well, tell him you just couldn't find an answer, and Bill said no. Or I can tell him, well, Tim wanted to know if he had a gift basket that had alcohol in it, if we could give that away, and I don't know why we couldn't. And he was like,
Bargain wines and cheese, something like that. I don't think we have that many, guests that are under 24.
well, it would have, yeah,
Well, as
we
long
have
as
to
you
make sure that
develop
it was.
Statute, it's most state statutes, as long as it's not open, it's not even an issue.
But
And we're not selling
I think
tickets,
there would be a
we're
deal.
giving
I
it
think
away.
plenty of folks who value that.
So, yeah,
Including
I was
drop-
gonna tell you,
I didn't want to break it down, like, what are you doing with that?
I was gonna tell you to bring it, and if we decided that night that you
Lisa might take it.
give it away, then I would even pay for it.
Yes, contraband is not.
But yeah, if you guys have donations, Dan's brought some little, what do you call them? Hand warmers, yeah, your fingers stick out though, right? So you can still kind of work. And, Pat, are you gonna bring candles? David has gotten a couple of, group passes or pairs of tickets for the Garden Fest. I thought to have him out with the Master Gardeners, those are fairly inexpensive, and it might draw someone to their event too. And then we have Pat down there, so that kind of thing is coming along. The White River cleanup is in March as well. The policy handbook is not on my report, but I need to scan that and send that to all of you. Because we decided last year we would vote on that, approving it in March after the annual meeting, because then you would have, like, in this situation, Doug's not on the board, but Tim will likely be on the board after March. And so rather than having Doug sign it in January and board later, that way it would be the people who would be handling the funds and everything would get to see the policies.
Did
So
I have any policy changes?
we did not.
Good.
So last year, I think we had an addition, but
There are two, but you've done a great job of keeping that up to date, so.
I'm not gonna go through everything. To think about it again.
Good job spinning a lot of plates. Lot of skills that you got to do in your head. David, you've been doing stuff too, huh?
Yeah, I got the article written for Mark, for the Martinsville Nation magazine, on the Garden Fest. Inviting everybody to come out to that. And I got the February article turned into the paper, although he had not used the January article, so he put that one in last week. I don't know when he's gonna put the February article in. I've gotten all of our weed wrangles scheduled for spring 26. First one is April 11th at Burkhart Creek Park, 9 a.m. to noon. Pull garlic mustard, April 18th at Old Town Waverly Park, 9 a.m. to noon. April 25th at Jimmy Nash, 9 a.m. to noon. May 2nd will be at Fred Dorothy Mayer pulling burning bush. I do have Wildflower Heights at state parks after all of those weed wrangles. So I'm gonna be getting them cut off right at noon so I can make my travel time to the state parks. I do have people scheduled to help out with the weed wrangles if somebody's diddly-daddly's around in the woods and don't get out by noon. I've got somebody there to make sure that they survive the event. Held the February McNitt meeting, had problems. I only had 2 people show up. but, I couldn't get the TV to work. I tried to do the projector, and then I couldn't get to my Gmail account. Said, this site can't be reached. And so I couldn't show my program. We did go over the weed wrangles for this year. We also discussed utilizing our SICM funds, for the calorie pair buyback that we discussed last month. And the two people that showed up approved, utilizing those funds. And so Lisa and I, sometime after the dinner, we'll have to sit down and work out the details for this buyback program. I think that's about it.
Money going on.
Oh, I am doing 2 Jimmy Nash evening walks. One in May and one in October. I'll be talking at the Garden Fest for planting trees from seeds. And then we'll also be doing a Q&A session, and I'll be one of the A people.
Be good at that. Thank you, David. Okay, environmental issues update.
I have a whole list.
I bet you do.
First of all, let me say, I can't believe you stayed awake.
Yeah, the testimony was a challenge, but, it was exciting for me to be there. What can I say? I wanted to let y'all know that the coal ash regulations, there's been a press release from HEC, February 6th. The EPA has extended the deadline for the water testing for contaminants for the legacy ponds. They had until 2029 to do that, but the federal EPA is giving them until 2032. So presumably, they don't have to do any cleanup on the legacy ponds until after that. AES already has their water testing and all that performed as part of the other. And they already have a closure plan for D&E, ponds D&E, submitted to IDEM. I have not seen a public notice on that for comments or anything of that nature, but it basically is they're planning to do the same thing they did in A, B, and C. They're progressing with that. The water table's been low. And the last time I was able to get September's monthly report of operation, and contaminant levels have not gone up. But I will ask or send the HEC press release to Lisa with some other stuff to be able to send out to everybody if you're interested in that.
Can I ask a question?
Yes,
They say they have till 2033 before they have to have it completed, or when they?
2032 is when they need to have, from what she said in her press release, check that, but what she said that 2032 is when they have to have their water quality testing information or report in.
Okay.
So, and then again, I think that's associated with the legacy ponds. So read carefully through that press release and so forth. She also sent it to Stephen Crane so that he's aware of it and can get the information out. But if you have other questions on the coal ash pond and those kinds of things, please don't hesitate to reach out. I attended the Indiana Association of Soil and Water Conservation Districts Water Advocacy Day in the State House, and I felt like I had a home run because I got to sit in on a meeting with other people from Morgan County with Rod Bray, and I was able to, in the meeting, make a pitch to present to him the information that I've compiled on the river flows and the information about the bigger watershed that I'm trying to increase everybody's awareness of how it works, and how much water, is coming down during the extended dry periods, and what's kind of in that water, and we can talk a little bit further about that as we get into it. It's what I propose to present, a very short cut down version after Liberty Flora gives a presentation on the water study as part of the annual meeting next week. So got to cut that down. And I can tell you that while the information I've got in there relates to the current legislation and so forth going through, I'm going to concentrate on ending with the need to monitor the quality and the quantity of water, and working with everybody upstream and Google and everybody to maintain and continue to conserve the resource, and also to make certain that everybody upstream is complying with the regulations and doing the necessary treatment in order to make certain that the treated effluent that's in those flows is not going to compromise our wells and so forth down here. So I have had the opportunity to give the presentation. It's still a work in progress. The more detailed one to Don Adams, one of the commissioners, Chip Keller, the president of the council, Kyle Swallows, the county administrator, along with Lisa and David. I have given it to Mayor Costin and Max Dunn. I've actually had an opportunity and sit down with Ryan Mueller, who is responsible, he's the DNR deputy director, is responsible for putting together the state water study. He came to my office. I had a 2.5-hour session with him and walked through it. And he said, we're way ahead. I'm way ahead of everybody else in terms of the information we have. He said that they're going to have the stakeholder meetings, one of which was today, the first one, which I was scheduled to go to, and decided not to go to it because of the testimony today. But I plan to attend others. But he's responsible for gathering all the stakeholders and gathering all the information for the statewide study. Statewide study took us 2 years here, more or less, down in Morgan, to do just Morgan County. It's going to be 5 years before anything, we know anything from that study, and there's a lot of things going on. So we still need to continue to educate everybody as much as possible so we can make good decisions, and that's what I am trying to do. I've given the presentation also at the public library and had about 25 people there that were viewed it. And I've also, 3 days ago, or last week, I got a chance to sit down with Scott Yeomans and actually Liberty Flora and some of the other representatives from Intera. I went over to the Morgan County Rural Waters office and walk through the presentation with them, so they're aware of it. That interaction has been good. I do know that continuing to get a little bits and pieces of information about what's going on with Google and so forth that I can share as we get into it. And then I actually got an opportunity to give it to Jamie at the chamber, along with another representative, Brian Haggard, who is with D3, again, that was at the chamber. It was suggested that I give it to them. So again, I'm making this presentation available to anybody and everybody that we can, and trying to get everybody understanding what's going on. I have reached out and emailed the Google engineer, Matt Stipula. I emailed him, copied Lisa, and asked, we had asked for flow data and other things and so forth, and I asked again for that information, and I asked also if we could sit down and meet with him, because I really want to step through this information with the Google representatives and him, and get them to understand how the bigger system works and how we need their help and their clout and so forth as time goes on to protect the water coming down the river, that's going to be that they're going to use ultimately for their operation.
can I insert just a little comment?
Yes,
I don't want
absolutely.
you guys to think that like when Stan, because I've met with several different officials now with him. His presentation is not like anti data center at all. It's just kind of, he's done a really good job of compiling discharge records and amounts, flow rates, and the information in the water study that Intera put together. And it just gives you a big picture of how much of our water in our aquifers, like we have a lot, but how dependent it is really on the decisions that are being made upstream. And we want to make sure that Google actually has the water that they need, and IPL or AES have the water that they need to provide the electricity. No, we want it to be successful. So
Everybody.
I think sometimes, I think that a lot of the local leaders have been had their feathers ruffled about this whole data center so much that they instantly think we're probably coming in there. Tell them a bunch of bad news, and really his presentation is very like what is the word, bipartisan or whatever, like he's not, we're not really pro or against, we're just saying like, hey, just pay attention to what's going on.
There's only so much of a limited resource. We need to be mindful of how to
Yeah.
simplify.
I think everybody that listened to it has been really receptive, and it's taken them a few minutes to catch on, but then when they do, you kind of tell that they catch on and they start asking more questions. So it's just very informative.
Mayor Costin indicated that he's on the Economic Development Board, or coming up, he may be put as president of that. And he mentioned that he'd like to give me an opportunity to give that to the board as well, so that they're aware of it. And I can share with you that yesterday I heard that there was a public meeting being held up in Indianapolis on CEG's plan for the 25 million going up to billion gallons a day going up to the LEAP project, and their plan now to bring the wastewater from that through the Lebanon wastewater treatment plant down to the upper end of Eagle Creek. I went to the meeting, and there were everybody around that lived around Eagle Creek was there, and all of their representatives, and they are not happy campers. They are really concerned about the 25 million that's coming down the and going to be put into the head of the drinking water. And I kept sitting there thinking, well, and I'll share with you tidbits, but back in October of last year, the low period when the river was lowest, I looked at the river water level or river water flow, and the average flow was around 260, 270 million gallons a day was coming by the river at Center. And I went in and got all of the MROs from the wastewater treatment plants up north for October and got their average day, and I added those up. And the ones that I found and added up to about 175 million gallons a day. So 65% of the water coming down, or 70% during those low periods, is treated effluent. And it really, I mean, that's 7 times the flow of treated effluent that they're concerned about putting into Eagle Creek. And I really hope that they don't have the clout and whatever to force that or to end up not having that flow come back in either to Eagle Creek or to White River because we really need those flows. We can't afford to have flows being moved out of the watershed and not coming down, because it makes that concentration of pollution much lower. Yeah, in those periods. And so that's the kind of nature of the information I'm planning on sharing overall. So the main thing that you have to realize with all of that going on, and all of the people we rely on upstream to treat the waste and to do regulatory work to make certain they're treating all of that, is one of the reasons why I was very concerned about Senate Bill 277 and also Senate Bill 172. But Senate Bill 277 is a rewrite of administrative rules that IDEM operates under, and I spent the entire day, February 8th, of going through that, identified over 40 changes to the rules or to the administrative rules that I believe are detrimental or reduce or make optional the functions that IDEM is doing. And I wanted to share with you a few of those relatively quickly.
How many, sorry,
Yeah,
how many were there that you found?
I have over 4. But basically there are a number of things in here, and this is a summary of kind of the content of them and so forth, but they removed language requiring the department to encourage and assist units of local government in developing programs and facilities for air, water, radiation, odor, and noise pollution, wastewater treatment, water resource development, and solid waste management. But the term radiation, they're removing from all of their regulatory requirements. They are in adopting rules and establishing standards, making it optional for the department to consider a few considerations, including the rights of all people to an environment sufficiently uncontaminated as not to be injurious to human, plant, animal, aquatic life, or a reasonable enjoyment of life and property. I guess that's no longer going to be in their administrative rules. In a bunch of sections, 129, 130, 131, 132, and a bunch of these, they're removing the requirements for a person to construct or operate a nuclear power generating facility or a nuclear fuel processing plant, or to increase the capacity of such a facility without a permit from the department. So they are basically saying IDEM will not have any oversight, review, or permitting requirements for the installation of a nuclear power plant.
And who does?
That's my question. I mean,
Well,
that's,
hopefully, yeah.
if not them, who?
Yeah, but I think in general, we see backing away from the kind of regulations. Like, the government is deleting itself.
They're removing the requirements that the board adopt rules to issue permits and operating rules for nuclear facilities and rules related to the air and water pollution from the nuclear facilities. Removing the requirement for submission of a preliminary safety analysis for nuclear power generating processing. They're removing the public hearing requirements on environmental effects of a proposed nuclear operation. They make it optional for the board to adopt rules and requirements for certification for nuclear facility operators and the mandatory testing and training of those operators. That's just, and they're removing the term radiation. Now, they said they moved it today. They said in the 277 that they've taken care of that in Senate Bill 258. And I looked briefly at 258. I haven't had much time to digest, but it looks like they're removing it from that as well too. So this is an active process to eliminate IDEM's responsibility to protect the public here and the citizens of Indiana from the nuclear radiation or nuclear contamination or whatever, as far as I can tell. Now, in addition to that, they're doing things like they add, but not later than 5 years from the date of the standard limitation or requirement are incorporated into a permit. They've added that language so that before it read the schedule of compliance for a permittee to achieve expeditious compliance with an applicable standard and limitation or other requirement that adds to a permit. Now it's they added no longer than 5 years. So the example I would give you is in 2023, we were finally able to get them to add the testing and monitoring for the contaminants at the Eagle Valley Power Plant. If we got that, the way I read this, if we got that into a permit or whatever, that they wouldn't necessarily have to comply with that for a period of 5 years.
So I'm saying I do want to hear all of this, okay, but I also want to,
Yeah.
what I want to encourage everybody here to do is reach out to your friends and family and have them reach out to our legislators. Okay, so we can all be informed about this stuff and be in this room and be aware. But what Stan is highlighting, that there is a intentional effort to remove environmental regulations. And it's at a serious high level. I think the common American has no clue what has happened on it. That's right. And so, Stan, I want to hear every bit of this, but I just want to hope the result of this is that run, talk to your friends and neighbors. And this is a very touchy subject that a lot of people aren't going to be comfortable about. But I would encourage you all to email and call your state representatives and your federal representatives and say, come on, like the government is trying to excuse itself from regulations that protect the public good. Like actively, blatantly, this is happening here and now. You better wake up. Is that a good summary?
So Senate Bill 277, Senate Bill 172. And what that does, and it's currently passing through, what that does is if it lowers the dollar value of the economic analysis, the burden or the cost to implement a standard or update a standard, IDEM now has to do an economic analysis of every change that they make and determine how much it's going to cost to the business community, to implement that for a 2-year period. And if it's above a certain number, then it has to go to the governor for review and so forth. So they're adding additional economic analysis requirements. IDEM doesn't have the personnel and the funding to do all that, as far as I'm concerned. I don't believe they do, and it's slowing down the regulatory process as well, and it's adding additional bureaucratic approval of those kinds of things. So it's intentionally done to slow down our process. So if you do communicate, I would encourage you to express concern about 172 and 277 and the lack of the oversight of nuclear facilities in 258.
It highlights the overall theme that what we're trying to do is put a dollar value on contaminating our environment.
Yes.
Well,
Stan, two quick questions. One, on the radiation, so that this big district, I wonder if Lily's is coming, because Lily's about a walking party. No, is there radiopharmaceuticals and any research that's going in up there? Because that's a hot issue, medical field. So it's, how do we, and this has been going on for years. And then the second question is, part of the watershed, the big district, actually, it's the Wabash watershed, and there was a lot of concern about drawing out how much it's going to the groundwater farms and other things that having that area over toward the Wabash River. Have these groups got together to kind of put their heads together and see if there's common things they can talk about or need to talk about?
Well, let me address the first about the nuclear radiation. I'm unfamiliar and I haven't heard anything about the concern about that up at the Lilly site. I believe that the nuclear information is because they've passed regulations that says they want to build the first 1 to 2 nuclear reactors here, the small nuclear reactors here in the state.
That's what I guess.
Yeah. Now, if you had told the people of Lebanon, the people up around Eagle Creek about that radiation and those kinds of things, that's another thing that needs to be possibly monitored for and so forth, or concerned, if it ends up showing up in their water, it's going to end up showing up in ours. So, I'm really not up to speed or knowledgeable about that as far as what Lilly does. But all of the pharmaceuticals, all of the chemicals they're going to use, they're going to have industrial pretreatment. It's going to go to Lebanon. They're going to treat it advanced level. Provided they're able to identify, and they work closely to identify what they need to look for, test for, on a regular basis and do that monitoring and testing and then removal when it's appropriate. But IDEM again, is gonna have to be able to have the teeth to be able to say what they do and what they don't. And if it's not a federal reg, they can say, I don't have to worry.
On some of the problem is volume, you can treat a lot of that stuff, reverse osmosis, I mean, or even serial treating different standard processes, but the volume that they're gonna be having to read about, it's a bit overwhelming when you look at them, just like the amount of groundwater that it could theoretically affect the wells up northwest of there, it's again on our watershed.
Yeah. But the main, there is not much, I mean, Lebanon's been looking for years for water like Brownsburg does west of them and so forth. And there are areas up there that do not have groundwater of any magnitude, whatever the case may be. And that's the reason why they're having to bring it out of our watershed. They did share that 25 million is supposed to last for the next 25 years. You know, whether or not that, I mean, they're not designing for another 25 in these facilities right now. They need more water eventually, and if they want to bring it out of our watershed, they're gonna have to do that again, you know, address how they're gonna do that.
Water flow at Eagle Creek, if you look, sometimes it's 10 cubic feet per second. It's just nothing, dry times a year. And that's not gonna give you anything. I just don't get how they're coming up with these numbers justified, unless they really can guarantee that it's gonna be pristine and put back in.
Well, they're gonna treat it to an advanced level, and Lebanon's got very good track record of treating waste and so forth, and they're expanding the treatment plant. So, you know, the important thing is that we get it back and it's treated to the appropriate level, and they continue to do that, whether they bring it up further in the watershed or bring it over the White River or whatever, we need it back. Yeah.
Do you recall what Senate committee those two water bills were originally assigned to?
I don't know 172, but the Ways and Means was what we were in today. I was in.
So you were in environmental,
Or
weren't you?
environmental.
Affairs.
Yes.
today. But it passed out of environmental affairs, so now
It's
gonna
going
go
back
to
to us. So, I didn't finish the water advocacy day. I also got to, and talked to Peggy Mayfield and also to Greg Haggard, and expressed interest and got there. I told him about the presentation I'd like to give to him and sit down, and both of them indicated they would meet with me after the sessions, you know, to be able to go through it. And I will do that if it makes, when possible. So, let's see. So I covered the issue with Google. I requested a meeting. We have not heard back from them as to when we can meet with them to go through these issues. Continues to be challenging, and all I have to say, you know, with all the information that I've been able to gather so far, as time goes on, if there's going to be a water quality problem or an issue with wells, we're kind of the canary in the gold mine here in the Martinsville office, because when we start pulling out as much water as we're pulling out or expect to pull out, and all the other players are doing, and the levels in the river get really low and the concentrations of what's in it gets high, that's when you typically could have an issue of PFAS or some other kind of chemical getting through that can be hazardous and harmful to the water treatment, or the people who drink the treated water. So we just all need to be aware of what's going on and how it's going, and how important and working together with everybody upstream, and getting our regulators to help us make certain everybody's doing their job. So I'll leave it at that.
You put in a lot of effective effort. So, but we need everybody else to help carry that message to everybody paying attention.
I did want to clarify my testimony today. I did talk to Liz Rice and Vance Mitchum, Chris and
our lobbyist.
Yeah.
It
Chris,
used to be Chris.
Vance mentioned, yeah, so it's Chris and Trevor. They were there on the advocacy day, and I talked to Liz about it this morning. I talked also to Lisa. I didn't go there and represent you guys, or whatever. I went there in representing myself as a citizen and so forth. I didn't want any kind of blowback, that hopefully there won't be, in what I expressed and my concern and so forth. It is what it is, so.
Everybody needs to do their part.
I think it was good advice that, again, as we move forward, there's a lot of pressure and everything coming down to move these things forward, regardless of what we feel, but we need to express ourselves. Thank you all for your interest and support.
Okay, our approval of our consent agenda, we've got our, January minutes in there. And then we've got our payments that are mainly everybody's per diem, and our part-time folks. Do you have any need for discussion or amendments to the minutes? Or does anybody want to make a motion for approval of our consent agenda?
I just noticed a little typo error. No big deal.
That doesn't surprise me. But
Did you
let me
see
know where it's at.
the first page, the third line from the bottom? There's a G and an equal sign. Add the word finished
On the minutes or
on the minutes.
okay.
Page
On
two.
page 2, well, which is 9 of our packet.
There's no big deal.
Almost finished.
Lisa, I would also like to point out that on page 1, third line from the bottom again, where you say this would increase the acreage to the project site when we were in the tech meeting.
Uh-huh.
I don't know I don't understand what you meant by that statement, unless,
I thought they had not already approved additional acreage.
when we sat down with the technical meeting, it was a
That
construction
was
meeting,
prior.
and that was after,
Okay.
so I would strike that sentence.
Yeah. Sorry.
Other than that, that's all I said.
So maybe the line above that proposed should be building. Building number 1, that's something instead of addition. Since it's not really the addition of land, it is the building of building number 1.
Right.
Any other amendments?
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda with the changes.
And a second. All in favor? Aye. There you go.
I'll make
We can do old business real quick. Nothing. David, David's request to go to sick leave. I think that's at least got to do that.
We hope so.
a great big walk of $14.
I think we ought to be able to cover these.
And the day of the snow bill, for me,
So we need a motion to send David to sick leave.
Make a motion, we send David.
And a second.
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye. Good.
Yes, we're gonna let you come back.
No, it's gotta come to the next board.
The top, that's on the next agenda.
So Bailey wants to go to the Indiana Natural Resources Teacher Institute.
I looked at it too. I roll over this every year, but until I have no 4-Hers, I'm afraid that. So,
Well, I think with Bailey's enthusiasm and how dedicated she is, kind of a no-brainer to me.
it is a no-brainer. Now, there is an application process that she would have to spend, can imagine. But, she needs to get that. And the deposit gets refunded. I think it's on a weekend, but we talked about it. Meals are provided. It's not far from here, but, in the past, when I've gone to training, and like David going to the sick, we usually have counted that time that we're there at the training or whatever, drive time, paid time. So that's why I asked them. I think in their contracts too.
We need a motion. to Support Bailey for the Indiana Natural Resources Teacher.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
A second.
All in favor? Aye. So we talked about this earlier, the MOU, right?
Yeah.
So we need to approve it now under the caveat that it might get amended, but it's still bureaucratic all that, right?
Is this MOU something that we have to do absolutely tonight, or can we table it, give ourselves a chance to review that?
You can, but this kind of MOU isn't something that we probably can make any changes to. The last MOU that we signed was in 2019 when Warren was here. So we've kind of been working under this Indiana Conservation Partnership, kind of just floating under the previous agreement and expired. Those are 5-year contracts, so I think it expired over 2 years ago, almost.
Okay.
So the NRCS is the one that develops all of this. This basically allows us to work with Tony and all of the other conservation partners. I did notice, like, the last one that was signed, Warren and Lou signed it, and it had the signatures also of, like, Purdue Extension was on there, because they were part of the conservation partnership. IFPA was on there. There was other partners, like IBM, I think, might have been on it. And I did notice, I wanted to sit in on the webinar for this thing, but I missed it, so I tried to watch the video of it afterwards. This one really is just between the soil and water districts, the NRCS, and the IFPA. So I'm not sure why the additional partners aren't in this one. This is probably even more important to districts that are co-located. It's basically just, a lot of it is confidentiality of records. A lot of, when farmer applies for federal grant program, there's a lot of financial information and personal identity information that has to be handled a certain way for federal laws. And it's basically stating that we will do the same if it's in our possession. What other things does it really cover? Like, basically like, civil. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, the anti-harassment, all of these things, they're basically saying we have to treat those customers the same way the federal government does, which, I mean, we do that anyways. I am not in a co-located office. We don't absolutely have to sign it, but I will say that it was highly recommended to me that every county should. We want to work with the NRCS and use their technicians and their services and be a good neighbor, that we should sign it. So.
Page 41 has a place, certain name of the county, so on water conservation district.
Right.
That's apparently they want our signature.
Yeah, they do. They, I mean, they sent us out and asked for it, us to go over that. There was a webinar to learn more about it, and then I got an email that said, hold up, we didn't get it approved by one of our federal department. So
So you can't send it. There might be.
Well, that's what they said, is we could
that's true.
sign
You
it.
don't have to.
Tony
Tony,
did, but-
but-
yeah, that's right.
But Tony said if
like-
it's already on your agenda, probably you get it approved. I would go ahead.
Well, then she suggested signing contingent on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
There you go. You know.
Yeah. so we got a motion?
Yeah.
Matt just says, yeah. And a second? Aye. All in favor? Aye.
You know, so staying on that because I'd like to read through it, I guess. And I'd like to know what we're agreeing to. I know that Lisa is very knowledgeable and follows the rules and so forth, but there's a lot of the SWCD is we'll do this, this, and this, and I guess I'm comfortable signing something or approving something until at least I read through it and understand the agreement. So.
Fair enough. Yep.
Debbie, you seconded.
Yep. So we have a request for sponsorship from our friends at Fulton County Tourist about leaders. Last year we did $400. I think recognizing the kids and 4-H and the 4-H accomplishments, certainly something relative to soil and water. And we get plenty of participants in the soil and water projects, don't we?
Not so much in the soil and water, but there's not just soil and water. You've got like horticulture, you've got geology, you've got entomology, thank you.
Evening in words. Don't
Yeah,
we think of-
sciences, we sponsor a lot of those, but then we also sponsor, the $400 we've given them has helped sponsor some awards. But most importantly, it goes also, I think, some of that money goes to trip sponsorship for them to be able to go to Purdue Academy. And this is like summer trips that the kids can take to learn specifically about those things.
It's all
I always
relevant.
ask for it to please go towards, I'll pull the form out. I always look back at what I wrote the year before, but I think it's like conservation and earth sciences related topics. And that money should be used for that 4-H project. There's so many different projects that they can qualify.
I would put out for consideration to bump it up to 500. Because things are a lot more expensive than they once were, and so many program cuts for our youth, especially around conservation and plenty of things we could cut. It'd just be something I would put out. A little more into it. Any other ideas or thoughts?
No, I don't say idea. Got a motion? Sure.
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye. Yep. So we went over the annual BD planning and updates a bit in your office report. Is there anything else that we need to cover?
We have 95 people RSVP. I kind of went through and counted you guys. And made sure, like, I think Stan actually RSVP'd. Pat did, but like those of you who didn't, I went through and included you in that count today. I really need to talk to the maintenance people. How many chairs are in this room? I don't know that we've ever had this many RSVP. So I don't know if we want to I may have to, I may have to do a little planning here and, configuring, we may have to ask like 4-H or FFA kids, maybe sit in the hallway on a table, or we may have to figure something out. We've got some tables that belong to the district. I've got a table at home. If we had to come
Well,
in
if
with
it comes
two
to that,
extra
I
tables.
can help with that. I've
There's
got,
2 tables upstairs.
Yeah, like we may have
Got a
to,
bunch of things there.
scrap
Watch out.
around and find some extras. They've got some in these storage, columns, these big columns out there. But they might be mismatched, I don't know. We're not able to have them all matched this year, but, I said we had sponsorship. One of the sponsors is, Tom Burkett, who has his own business, and he wanted to like give a 10-minute presentation with slides and set his drone up and have a table. And I said, I'm gonna be really honest with you, I have a lot of RSVPs. I don't know that I'm gonna have room for, you to have a table. We've already got 2 speakers, but I didn't wanna like completely shut them down completely, you know, and I've got some other, sponsors that I think would like to bring some handouts and pamphlets, the Indiana Alliance for Rural Water. They have some really neat water handouts they wanna bring. So I'm planning on having like maybe 1 table up there, and sponsors can leave their information on a sponsor table. If he wants to put his drone up there, I think it would fit in that corner of the room. And then I'm going to, you know, do table cards, for sponsors and, slides in the slideshow, and of course in the program. What's the other one to cover tonight? I've gotten all of the awards have been ordered. We've talked to all the award winners at this point. We're starting to write bios. The elections all prepared and ready to go. I've got Tammy, Parker gonna do the oath of office, that she would be happy to do that. We actually have had a lot of people from the state level RSVP that don't know RSVP. Some of them, like there's a gentleman from the State Soil Conservation Board that RSVP. Scott Keeley, I think is his name. And so, I think it'll be a really good meeting. I think it's a topic that a lot of people are interested in too. Got several people who maybe have never been to one before, but they've heard about the water study. The caterer has been confirmed, the speaker's been confirmed.
So are you gonna use projectors on the screen?
I'm gonna use the screen, and I think I will, because we're probably gonna have to have chairs on both sides of the table to get that many people in here this year. I'm probably gonna ask Joel if I can have an additional one and see if there's any way to hook, I don't know. But it'd be nice if we could hook them together, or is your screen?
Really big, it's bigger than that. Oh, yeah. With the projector,
But we would have to have it up high. Would it fit up
We
there,
can, yeah,
okay?
we can set it on.
we want one on this side of the room and one on that side of the room, since we're gonna have table. People come
Well, that's what I was thinking with the TVs, if her presentation's only 20 minutes long, I thought if we could work it out, it'd be nice to like pull it out here after we're done. Have one in the front, one in the back. But people can turn their chairs around too if we have something big.
I just know from the back of the room for Pastor Gardner's saying
It's okay.
it's not great. With that.
I don't want to put too much on him.
Well, I showed my people how to set up my screen, so.
Okay.
So they can do it.
I have a projector and I'll make a suggestion this year. We'll put this screen in the center of the room, put the speaker off to the side a little bit. Because last year, a lot of people sat back, said they couldn't see the screen. Everybody's head was in line, so it said, they move to the middle and let the speaker stand
Well,
off.
we can go back to using the big screens on the side too, if you think that would be better with.
They all sit back.
Can't see them.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, it's just an idea last year, 'cause they said they couldn't see where everybody's heads, because it's down here. And the speaker was over there, they really didn't care about the speaker, but they wanted to see the
Yeah.
slides.
Okay.
Just a suggestion.
Yeah.
Could you use the 2 tops that they put back, that one piece back there? So that way you'll have the front people see there, facing that way, those can see that, and in the back.
I don't know that you could hook it up that way.
Yeah, cause those are in the wall. So it's hard. I wouldn't know.
To think about that. So, your big screen might be the biggest.
Yeah. Cause I can put the projector on my little rolly cart and it can go as far as it needs to go. So,
You leave the middle aisle.
yeah, you need a bit more.
That,
Then I have new things so you don't trip over.
Okay. Well, you
I'll show you how to do it. I'm open tomorrow, but.
all right. I think that's all. Other than I just need to finalize like the program. I already got most of it together, but printed. Need to finalize. As far as finances go, I don't think we'll go over this point. I tried to add what we've already spent in awards. Wanted to go get that Walmart and what we estimated. I have not given her the head count yet, but I don't.
Okay, so then we have, so that's for that, okay. We've got a request to provide bids and votes. First conservation copy, then we're gonna prepare here. Yeah, no, no,
Everybody go to Martinsville High School on the 25th.
yeah, farmer's breakfast.
Yeah.
From 7 to 8:30?
That's 30 to 9.
Seven.
Where is that? Or 7:30 to 9.
So I got it ready.
It's farmer's breakfast. You park behind the school, and go in the shop door, and they usually have eggs and biscuits and gravy and eggs, sausage, juice and coffee and stuff. They could serve you, and then it's just donation.
what day is that?
The 25th.
What time?
7 a.m. to 8:30. And it's entered through door 14.
What time was it again? 7 to 8:30.
Yep.
Yeah, we said the day, look at the day. It'd be great, and Liam gets in the truck and he's like, here's the schedule for. Same exact time.
Okay, for everybody, I texted flyer.
Oh.
You want to know. So many texts, I wouldn't do the phone.
It's.
You know, copy and paste the text. You can't,
No,
it's my
sorry,
one,
cell
it's
phone
got a
number.
flip phone. Don't matter. Can't send you a text with a,
Send it to my wife.
Well, what is her number?
Oh, my goodness, now you ask, 317-727-8643. Go to my secretary, I get screened out all the time, so I'm seeing.
Secretary's the boss. Come on, Bill.
Oh, I have her number, but I sent things to that and it doesn't, it stops and stuff down.
That's it, 317-727-8643. I know her number better than I do my own. Take a little dial mile.
Yeah.
I'm sending it to you.
February 25th. It's a good group coming and supporting.
Yes.
Why in the point, Bill, you're showing you put money in the piggy banks of the kiddies.
But I used to get a lot of harassment from people who say free meal. You get a free meal.
Hmm.
I
Okay,
make
so-
a motion to approve the drinks and donuts with conservation coffee at the
Yeah,
fairgrounds.
keep the FFA from that bar.
Cause I said,
Yeah, second,
Second.
all in favor? Okay. Well. Annual financial report review prior to our annual meeting, so everybody got it. I've got it, I gotta go through it, and sign it. And our financial meeting.
You know, got that question, but I think everything's always in order. Make sure I understand everything. Like, maybe a problem for that? Yeah, so, we have a letter handed around. Signed and sent to our representatives. Has everybody got a chance to look it over? Thoughts, questions, concerns?
So everybody understands this list, if you intend to attach it, and I don't know that you would necessarily have to, you could write this in a way that would just say, we understand the changes or whatever, you know, discussing, however you want, if you want to do that. I did send these same comments on the list to, Senator Niemeyer, Rod Bray, Peggy Mayfield, Craig Haggard, on the evening of the 8th with a statement that, you know, I urge you not to support the bill. So they've actually seen this list before, and I apologize. I sent it to Lisa and Doug. I don't believe I did not send it to everybody, so we can do that. If everybody would like to have a copy of it or whatever, we can send that to you. But it is a list that I'll put together.
I can email that book back to everybody. I should have done that. I should have made copies. I wasn't thinking this afternoon after I got that done. I was honestly, after I watched that whole hearing, I was really flustered. Asking why I kept blurting down, and I was like, I'm sorry. She's like, okay, really. Get so aggravated. I was like, anyways, but yeah, I'll send that list out to everybody. I did think that we could include it. I know they've seen it before, but at least this way they'll know that we've all seen it. We all agree.
But as a body, we need to be sure we all agree. to
Right,
it, because
yeah.
so it's okay if somebody doesn't, agree with that viewpoint, we don't want to
Right.
force it.
Right, I mean, if you approve that letter, it refers
Yeah.
to this list, so I should have included it, printing it, and I can go down and print them off if I want to.
So is there any more need for discussion? Are we okay with sending that letter saying, please retain the regulatory authority with our state environmental regulatory agency, please?
I'm good with it. I had a real hard time listening to people, period. And one of the most cool places to be in, talk about more regulations. Okay, please.
But we'll have money.
So we need to take a vote, take a motion.
Think we need a motion and a vote?
I think that was it.
Won't hurt.
I'll make that motion.
And a second.
I'll say.
All in favor? Aye. Calendar, please, and pass next monthly meeting at March 11th, but our annual meetings.
And
Okay.
no, it's Thursday.
Thursday.
Thursday the
June 19th.
6 p.m., not 6:30.
Yep.
Be here, speak at where?
Take any early comers. All of you. I will probably be taking donations at the door like an apple. David is so good at making sure that I sign them. Really good at making sure we follow.
Yeah, but you're gonna have to get this. We might think
And I
about,
thought if you guys were able to.
you might try to make 2 lines come in. Usually we just have one, around that many people, maybe 2 lines.
That's okay, but I really have to write a receipt for most
Okay.
people, so.
Well, I'm just saying, you might be able to find someone else to help with that.
Do you have the reprinted receipts?
I am supposed to do carbon copy. Carbon copy.
Sorry.
I might be able to like get an extra carbon copy. I'll figure it out. We'll do something.
Maybe that's a regulation we need to decrease.
If they wanna do
Hey,
it.
yeah, right, we gotta do
If you don't-
$1 donation to people meeting, but we aren't gonna worry about nuclear radiation.
Yeah, some of them don't want to receive. I guess we could say if you don't want to. I could just.
What would you think more about that? Anything else to add? I'll give you the order, we'll be covered everything. Gonna do a leadership program session, but we can adjourn first. I think we're way ahead on those two. Well, I think we covered a lot of ground, we did our due diligence.
So I'll make one to adjourn.
And thanks.
What's that?
If you guys want to do one, we can do one.
Will you put it on the house history?
It's, I mean, it's 8:14.
We're adjourned, we did it.
You,
Hey, Lisa.
yeah,
I just wanted to add, there's one more date that I was going to throw out there for you guys. On March 13th, and Michelle, this might be something you'd be interested in promoting as well, is the 2026 Southern Indiana Grazing Conference is going to be happening in Odin on March 13th. And that'll be an all-day event. I think it's a $40 for the event. But they've got some really good speakers lined up and ready to go. And then they'll have lunch provided. I think probably breakfast as well. But it's a really cool conference that I know at least a few ISDA guys down south have been working really hard on. So it'll be cool.
Is that the same conference that was held at, like in Ferdinand, maybe 2 or 3 years ago, do you know?
yeah. So,
Yeah, I believe so.
Really good. That was a
Yeah.
really, really good conference.
It's really one of those where whether you're
Oh, you
fresh
got-
and new or, you know, a seasoned guy, there's something to take away from it.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, lots of good ideas and resources.
Last time I went, I almost didn't see.
Yeah.
They almost got full.
Yeah.
Step back with the arms back there. We'll do that. I couldn't stand that.
But like one of the speakers at the grazing conference, the guy that does the so deep amp grazing. I really want to see it, but at the same day, it's like, how are you? And you don't need park. I raise. But if you need park, you come to look at technologies.
right.
Copy of this to everybody, but if you wanted to see the original or use the QR code if it didn't work online, this is for that AES where they're going to do a transmission line upgrade study. And they've got 2 meetings. I don't think from what I read, this is like open to the public meetings, but more like leaders, planners, things like that. They're inviting to be on February 25th. In Brooklyn. I bet our Brooklyn
So
partners in water quality, so I bet Barb will be there.
Say, park training, park 13.
Yeah.
Turn the Zoom on.
Yeah.
Yeah, have a good night.
Great.
Hey, guys.